What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Leaky XIV Leaky 14 back today with a review for Sakamoto Days, chapter 105, each one's goal. And let's get into this chapter. So, chapter 105 of Sakamoto Days by Yuto Suzuki. We get it's a pretty roundup, wrap-up transition chapter, and it does it very well in adding in a couple more steps to the story already, and just setting the slate of where we're going, as well as concluding a lot of beats at the same time. So, for instance, we start back at the JCC, and we see that we get a clear reason for why Amani is rolling with the crew. Because of course we're not just gonna flash back to we're leaving the store and Amani's with us and we're like, well, glad you're coming with us, to like, no, like this is a real dangerous world they're fighting in. They're doing some crazy things. Some powerful people are after them. And he's like, listen, if I come and help you, like, you help me find my father. And they're like, bro, you don't have your assassin license, so legally, like, can this be done? As Shin brings up. And also Sakamoto's like, why, what is the point? Tell me why I should bring you. Like, you know, not why, like, what can you do? Like, why, what you got? And he has the memorization skill that his grandfather has, and it's not as good, he kind of says, but I mean, he scopes out this picture with detail of what the reflection of the eye has, so I guess his skill is pretty good. And Sakamoto and Shin are like, wow, yeah, bro, I'm like, hop on. And he's like, he can't kill anybody, he doesn't have his license. He's like, I don't want to kill anybody, I just want to find out info about my dad, your former colleague. Which is like, I'm sure Sakamoto wants to find out as well. And we already know what is going on with with his dad. He is currently a ghost, so he's going to be a hard man to find. I'm sure he's gonna be very hard to find. He's probably gonna be super low key. Only one person is gonna know that he exists, and he's gonna be killing people on the low. He's gonna be very hard to track down. He already was hard to track down. The members of the order were having a hard time finding him. Now they're gonna think he's dead. So he's gonna be very low key. So we'll see when we run into Mr. Yoshimura again. And then we also get a reason. I actually really love this part of the chapter. Part 2, we get a reason why Seba isn't coming with the crew, and the reason is because his hand is messed up from the club jam fight, and also that he'll just find out information about X on his own. But he does throw in, if you need some tech, like, I'm your guy. We already know the invisibility cloak. I actually got that. That volume is discussing that cover. And then I love he's walking away, and then he glances and he goes, Shin. And even I forget reading the story that Shin is clairvoyant, and he's like, yo, don't worry, like, I'm gonna take care of Mafuya. And even before that, all that happens, I'm like, he knew he was gonna say that, but then when Seba says it, I'm like, oh, no, he literally knew he was gonna say that. But even something like that, he can still turn into a genuine moment, and it's not weird because, like, he means it. He's not just saying that because he hears it in Seba's head. Like, he was gonna say that regardless, and Seba knows that. That's why he's like, I forget that you're a clairvoyant. But it's dope. That was a dope moment. But then we transition, and the third thing is we're gonna have Amani's gonna have to get adjusted to the world because he was been at the JCC his entire life, essentially being raised by his grandfather and around assassins. So that's all he knows. He's never been out in the real world. So immediately he is shooting at vending machines because that's how they got their dinner at school. And they're like, bro, we're gonna have some learning to do. He's like, oh, this is hard. And like, that's the easy part. And it's funny, the little moment where AO comes out and he realized the first time he met Sakamoto, Amani, was when he looked like Mrs. Sakamoto. And now he's like, there's two Sakamotos? Oh, real life is hard. That was funny. But of course we got my boy Shin hyping up Lu and Hisuke, who we haven't seen in like I want to go back and do the math because it's got to be a good 50, 40, 60. I mean, like we had 105 since we seen Lu and Hisuke last. We've been a long journey. And I hope they get filled in. But we see they're doing great. They got snacks, they got Bevs, they got Odin, and my boy Hisuke and P. They got their own Uber Eats service where they just shoot a package. He's like, oh, Granny needs her, her usual din. Shoots it over 2 kilometers. Poof, parachutes down right in front of him. And it's dope. He just uses Pisuke to like scope out the spot, and Pisuke basically, I'm sure, just confirms he's taking a picture. He's like, you got your food delivered, and make sure people get their stuff. And that's really dope to see that they've innovated the store and like increased this notoriety without Sakamoto being around. And this whole part of the chapter was to show that they are capable, and that when Shin and Sakamoto leave again, which they are going to do, that the store is in great hands. Unfortunately, I'm kind of sad that those two were brought in for that reason, but I'm sure eventually they will be brought back around into the story and they will get some action themselves. But clearly they have been sidelined. But it is what it is. You can't have. We've already got a ton of characters in this story. And I don't know how I feel. Like I'd rather see them versus like a whole Shishiba Yoshimura fight. But that fight did have a lot of stakes and did progress the story. And Osaragi, I love just seeing her on page. So you got to give the order their screen time. But I hope we do get Hyusuke and Lu back in action at some point. But so that's their goal, I guess, is to keep up in the store. We get Seba's goal. We know Amani's goal to find his father. And of course, now we know Shin and Sakamoto want to go to Thailand, go to Bangkok, and go to this warehouse, which is next to this noodle spot, which Shin is like, it can't be hard to find. And I'm sure that is going to be the most false statement ever. There's going to be 100 warehouses next to 100 noodle shops. I bet. But we'll see how that transpires. But maybe they'll find that exact one. But still, I'm sure it's not going to be easy. But that is the next length of the story. And we also are trying to intercept Akira before she gets to X, which I guess our plan is just to beeline it to X and just hope we beat her there, which at this rate we're not going to, unless next chapter they get on the road. Like they're like, hey, Hisuke and Miss Sakamoto and daughter and Lu, it was so nice to see you. We've been away for 3 months, but it wasn't that long. To us it's been forever, but I'm sure it's story time. It's been like 2 weeks. But they are going to have to leave, and we're just gonna have to beeline it to X and hope we get there before Akira, which she's going Kanaguri, and Kanaguri knows where they are. So and they're on a boat already. They hijacked some boat. Like, and Akira definitely, and I can't believe that she's taking this turn, because she was introduced as such a solid character, but now she's just been on this tear, and like you can see, like she's changed. She like looks like a different character. She's not this fragile little girl anymore. She's like super menacing. Even Kanaguri is like, bro, what do you want? Like, that the deal was to bring you to X, and like my deal is done. She's like you don't get your movie if X don't kill me. And he's like, you right. So he's gonna have to clash with some members. He's gonna have to clash with somebody. But I was kind of doing the math. So right now we got Sakamoto, we got Shin, we got Amani. Mafuya is there. So is that other girl with the hatchet shotgun. I forget her name. And we now will have Akira there. So technically she's on our side. That's 6. And they got Slur. They got Gaku. They got Carolina Reaper. They got Kashimo. They got 2 more on the way. And that would also make 6. Kanaguri would make the 7th, but he's kind of like a third party, so maybe if there is a clash he sticks out of it. But right now we kind of have a 6v6 setup, so I wonder if that's what we'll get, if we'll get like 2v2s if Slur and Sakamoto will get that one-on-one. I'm very interested to see how these fights play out. Like, are they gonna be leveled, or like we gonna get there and it's gonna be a brawl? Because like, who's gonna fight Gaku? And apparently these two dudes are coming who are probably gonna be super nasty too. Because, and I still go by that article, by their age, Gaku was the youngest, and he's the strongest so far. We haven't seen Slur fight, but I'm sure he's super capable. But Gaku is like his like one, and usually the one is like the strongest, because they're supposed to look out for the boss. They're supposed to be the sword, you know, and Gaku's his sword. I wonder if Uda was like the shield. He was the older veteran. When you look at their ages in that news article from last chapter, and he did give up his life, he was the shield. Pretty cool to think about. But we do have a 6v6 setup. Pretty cool. Kanaguri would make a 7th. I kind of like Kanaguri in this chapter. I know I said I didn't like him. He's annoying last review. But he's kind of came around on me for some reason. I like him more as a third party when he's not being annoying. But Akira is hell-bent on getting to Slur. I don't know why she's so adamant to do this by herself. But I really still believe the Akeo incident has something to do with Slur's incident. And hopefully we'll see if she's really dead or what really happened. But great chapter 105. We didn't get a ton of action, but this chapter did progress the story, and we got everybody's goal. And clearly the next stages of this manga are set into action. Great chapter. I really enjoyed it. Chapter 105, Sakamoto Days. It's your boy Leaky14. Like and subscribe. Come back for more, my good people. Have a wonderful day. See y'all later.